when it comes down to being able to put yourself in a better position to be able to get out of the hood and get into a better situation. How's it going, YouTube family? It's your favorite entrepreneur, Elder Tony Williams. I'm a real estate investor and real estate agent, and I post content weekly here on the channel. If it's your first time, welcome. I highly recommend you go to the beginning of the channel and watch every single video from beginning to end to build your knowledge on investing, personal finance, and business. With that, let's get into the video. Why most people can't make it out of the hood. Now, this video is into relation to a video that I made a while back titled Why You Should Move Out of the Hood and Why I Left. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you watch it. I'll link it down below. Watch that video and this video and make sure you comment and let me know what you think. So these videos are a little bit different than my typical finance videos, personal finance, business, and budgeting, just because it's a great topic for me just because of where I started and where I come from. And also my goal is to kind of change the mindset of a lot of people and move them into more of the personal finance and business space. And that brings us to our first one of why most people can't make it out of the hood. It's the mentality. The mentality is extremely huge when it comes down to being able to put yourself in a better position to be able to get out of the hood and get into a better situation. I know this because I grew up in that environment. I know how people think. I know you can be down on yourself sometimes, like when you're inside a bad situation and you're not thinking about the financial future or financial gain just because the kind of predicament that you're actually living in. Take this for example. If you're worried about how you're going to pay the rent, the mortgage, if the lights are going to stay on, if the water's going to stay on, how are you going to juggle all these bills? The last thing on your mind is personal finance, investing, and budgeting. Your goal is just to stay afloat. So it's extremely hard to change that mentality from staying afloat to actually succeeding and accomplishing bigger goals and getting yourself out of that situation. And part of the reason we're stuck in these situations, or a lot of people are stuck in these situations, is which brings us to number 2, is the low skill set, or your low ability to be able to be a high valued employee or high valued person in the economy that we live in, which sucks, but you have to gain certain skills to be able to use those skills to make you valuable to society in exchange to be able to get money. So like I say, that is number 2, one of the reasons that it's hard to get out of the hood, because a lot of people have lower skill sets and it's harder for them to be able to get those higher skill sets to be able to move and increase their income. Because the majority of the reason a lot of people are in the hood is because of an income issue. And skill set and income are related. For example, the ability to be a cashier or flip burgers are extremely low skill sets, which equates to having extremely low pay, as opposed to someone who is saving lives as far as a doctor, completing surgeries. That is an extremely high skill set that took years and years to learn and be able to get qualified for. So the pay is going to be dramatically different. Not saying that you have to go to school to get these skill sets, because skill sets can be learned in many different ways without even attending school. You just have to be willing and able to be able to learn these skill sets to apply to your everyday life so you can increase your income. Now, number 3 is education. Now, when I say education, I don't mean a formal education, 1 through 12, or, if you want to go to college, great, but it's a lot of college students that still live in the hood just because they don't have degrees or knowledge in the right fields. So when I say education, I'm talking about the right education. You can jump on YouTube my channel, for example, watch videos or any other personal finance channel or any other channels and get knowledge right off of YouTube, but you have to put in that time yourself to be able to educate yourself to be able to make more income. And this is a reason, like I say, people are stuck in the hood because they're not putting in that time to be able to learn more and educate themselves. A lot of people spend more time on Facebook, Instagram than they do on platforms like YouTube to educate themselves. And if they are on YouTube, it's on non-educational content. Number 4, not enough knowledge with finances. Now, this is a big one for me before I got, knowledge and started building up my knowledge of finances. It's a lot of things, especially inside the hood or that environment and that neighborhood that tries to take money from you. My point example was Rent-A-Center. Not knowing about finances and how things work and thinking like, hey, I can get this for low payments every single week or every single month. But when you break it down, you're paying 3 times more than what the item is actually worth. These are still traps that's inside the hood that's going to keep you in that finance loop of not being able to propel yourself out of it. You have to know about budgeting. You have to be able to pay all your bills on time to make sure it doesn't affect your credit, because you can use your credit to leverage yourself into more income. So number 4, a huge one, is knowing finances in and out. And you get that from educating yourself. And number 5, we have to touch on it. It's work ethic. Now, this is what drove me to be able to propel myself out of the hood environment in that situation, is you have to have an extremely strong work ethic. If you don't have that, it's going to be hard for you to get out, because like I say, it's already tough as it is. So if you're not willing to put inside the extreme hours of work, I'm talking about working mornings, working nights, I don't care if you have to have 3 jobs, side hustles, it's going to be extremely hard if you're just like a naturally lazy person and don't want to do anything and you just want everything to come to you. So you really have to have that drive. And I don't even know, watch motivational videos. I don't know how to just create that drive in someone, but it has to be something. You have to find your why as to why you want to propel yourself. I mean, think about your family. You have to find that why on why you want to propel yourself out of that situation and into a better environment for you and your family. And if that's not enough, I don't know what is. Number 6, one of the huge reasons why a lot of people just can't make it out of the hood: addiction to drugs. I was fortunate that I never got addicted to drugs. I mean, like anything, getting high, drunk, anything like that. These things is gonna destroy your ability to be able to save money, stack money. If you're like, man, I got an extra $20, $50, let me go buy some drugs, let me go get high, let me chill, relax, and those things just takes you off of your grind. Not only spending the money, but once you get high, drunk, you're not able to be productive in society while you're high or while you're drunk. So that's a major part of why a lot of people just can't make it out of the hood, because of the addiction to drugs. And number 7, having a criminal record. Sadly, we live in a society that even if you do a crime, something minor, you've learned your lesson, you do it when you're 18, even when you get to the ages of your late 20s, if that's still showing on your record, it's gonna hurt you to be able to get a job. Even though you've did your time, you've paid your dues, spent time in jail, it's still going to hurt you in the future and when it comes down to getting a job. That's why I recommend, if you do have a criminal record, that you start your own business. You have to start your own business. Even if you don't have a criminal record, and really if you do have a criminal record, you got to start your own business, because a lot of jobs aren't going to want to hire you just due to your criminal record. Again, like I say, it's a crazy society we live in, even after you pay your dues, that you have to be faced with your past every single time you try to better yourself. And what that does is just create a loop. So you're like, hey, I can't get this job. Let me go back to what I was doing before as far as selling drugs, doing crime, robbing people, whatever it was. It just creates this loop that even after you serve your time, you're not able to join members of society and be productive in society just because of your past. And number 8, the final one, is having a bad upbringing. Having a bad upbringing, and what I mean by that, it kind of loops back to number 1 on the mentality side. If you have a bad upbringing, you're gonna have a lot of trauma. Like if you're seeing violence, your friends are dying, which I've experienced before as well. People you know, getting shot, getting robbed, you yourself getting shot at or getting robbed is. Trust me, it's a lot of that you experience inside the hood. It creates trauma and it makes it harder for you to get out of that kind of hood mentality to be able to put yourself inside a better environment. This is one of the key reasons why most people can't make it out of the hood. And if you are, you have to be the one that's gonna get your family out of that situation so the next generation, your kids and then your kids' kids, won't experience that trauma and it won't be as hard as for them to succeed in life. So that, like I said, that's one of the number 1 things is the mentality, which goes into that upbringing, and those two kind of relate with each other as well. Hey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, I have a ton of videos on this channel that you can watch that'll build your knowledge on investing, business, and finance. With that, check the links below and see you in the next video.